Imagine a retail organization aiming to optimize its supply chain efficiency. The analytics team wants to quickly identify bottlenecks and trends across inventory, sales, and shipping data stored in various systems. Every good investigation starts with a question, and Microsoft Fabric data agents are the specialized partners built to help us follow the trail. Welcome, detectives. My name is Jason Richards, Microsoft Technical Trainer and Data Detective. Fabric data agents can dynamically select the right datasets, correlate information from multiple sources, and return actionable, secure insights tailored to each user's access level. This streamlined approach enables faster decision-making, minimizes manual effort, and empowers teams to solve business challenges with speed and confidence. This is investigation at its best. Let's get started. Here, we'll dive into the power of Fabric data agents, your intelligent co-pilots for navigating enterprise data with ease. You'll explore how these agents can understand natural language, securely access multiple data sources, and return context-aware insights without requiring you to write a single line of SQL, DAX, or KQL. We'll walk through how to build an end-to-end agent, tailor its behavior with instructions and examples, and see how it seamlessly integrates with Microsoft Foundry for richer AI-driven experiences. By the end, you'll understand how Fabric data agents unlock a new era of conversational analytics that's flexible, secure, and ready to scale across your organization. Microsoft Fabric Data Agent lets you interact with enterprise data using natural language instead of query languages. You ask questions in plain English, and Copilot assists by identifying the most suitable data source, such as a lakehouse, warehouse, Power BI semantic model, or KQL database. Then generates and runs the required SQL, DAX, or KQL behind the scenes. This approach lowers the barrier to access while still returning structured, human-readable results that are grounded in your existing data models. From an investigative perspective, it's critical to understand the boundaries of the data agent's authority. The Fabric data agent supports read-only operations, meaning it can analyze and retrieve data, but cannot create, update, or delete records. Copilot reinforces data governance by enforcing the same user permissions, row-level security, and column-level security already defined on the underlying data sources. So every insight you uncover is limited to what you're authorized to see. Once your agent is ready, publishing makes it available for broader use. You share the published version across platforms such as Microsoft Fabric, Copilot Studio, Microsoft Teams, Power BI Copilot, Microsoft Foundry, or custom applications via API. Copilot then acts as the frontline assistant, routing user questions to the right data agent and returning insights in a conversational form. When configuring a Fabric data agent, you refine its investigative instincts. You provide organization-specific AI instructions, descriptions, and example queries to guide how the agent interprets questions and selects data. Copilot uses these instructions to disambiguate terminology, choose the correct tables, and generate more reliable queries, which helps you quickly separate useful signals from irrelevant noise in your data. A key analytical capability is reasoning across multiple structured data sources at once. You can correlate information by connecting up to 5 sources, like a Power BI semantic model, lakehouses, warehouses, or KQL databases. Copilot assists by reasoning over these sources together, but accuracy improves when you limit the scope, ideally selecting no more than 25 tables in total, to keep the investigation focused and performant. Use descriptive table and column names when setting up your data sources. Clear naming provides better semantic hints to Copilot, making it easier for the data agent to generate accurate queries and return relevant insights without additional clarification. Transparency is built into every investigation. When you ask a question, the Fabric data agent shows not only the final answer, but also the intermediate reasoning steps that follow to produce the result. By reviewing these steps, you can validate how Copilot translated natural language into queries and confirm that the conclusions align with your expectations and data logic. Integration with Microsoft Foundry expands investigative reach. By connecting a Fabric data agent to a Foundry agent, you extend conversational access to enterprise data with identity pass-through. Copilot ensures each query runs on behalf of the user, preserving security and compliance while reducing the effort required to connect AI agents to live business data. Within Power BI, Copilot streamlines how you work with Fabric data agents during analysis. You can either let Copilot search for the most relevant data agent automatically, or explicitly attach a specific data agent to your session. This keeps the inquiry scoped, ensuring follow-up questions continue to draw from the same trusted evidence set unless you intentionally change direction. Apply best practices to keep your data agent reliable and efficient. Write clear, concise instructions, avoid overloading the agent with too many tables or columns, and recognize that Fabric Data Agent is optimized for straightforward queries rather than deeply complex analytical logic. With these constraints in mind, Copilot becomes a dependable partner that helps you surface patterns quickly while maintaining performance and accuracy. Now that we've unlocked the clues for Microsoft Fabric data agents, let's put them into practice. Once again, we'll fire up the DetectoLab 5000 to show the power of data agents. Let's get started. In the case of the AI agent affidavit, Contoso Transport has been pleased with our agility and speed so far with our other cases, and now we're tasked with enabling conversational AI over enterprise data by building a Fabric data agent. The objective is to demonstrate how AI can reason across different data abstraction layers, allowing governed AI-powered data interaction. We already have the curated warehouse in place and a semantic model that has been prepared for AI integration from earlier cases that we cracked. This means we can confidently move to our next steps in enabling conversational AI over enterprise data. We also ensured that we have the Copilot standalone experience and data agent creation admin settings enabled. Also, agent instructions, data source instructions, and example queries have already been pre-generated to speed things up. In the same workspace as our warehouse and semantic model, we'll create a data agent, which may or may not be in preview when you implement it. And we'll name this agent something meaningful like Transport Insights agent. So go in here, create a new item. My data agent. All right. Next, we'll add the warehouse as the primary data source. We'll select tables later when we're ready to test and validate. All right. Now, at this point, our data is connected, but it's not guided yet. So what we're going to do next is define how the agent should think. What we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the data agent setup pane. And first we'll add agent instructions. Here. One thing to note, these do have to be in Markdown format. All right, so these instructions establish the agent's role and how it should reason over the warehouse tables. For this case, the agent is a data assistant for transportation and payment analytics. The instructions specify which tables to use, how tables should be joined, and which tables apply to which scenarios. You can also see some of the example scenarios provided in natural language for agent guidance. These instructions ground the agent and improve natural language to SQL accuracy. Next, we'll add data source instructions. You do that under Setup and Data Source Instructions. These describe the tables and intended usage patterns. You can see I have all the tables and views included and what their purpose is going to be used for. Next up, we're going to add example queries. These teach the agent how natural language maps to SQL. Now, you can add these manually or import them from a JSON file that expects it in JSON, or you can enter them manually. So we're actually going to import these in. Again, go into Data Setup, Example Queries, and we're going to import from a JSON file. Now you can see from our import, several example queries were generated. Example queries add more context for Copilot to leverage. Now, since we imported this, we can validate all these, validate the SQL. See, it comes with a question and a SQL query. And there are 9 of them showing. Once you have those validated, we'll mark Select All. So they're going to be used during the reasoning. And now the moment of truth, validating the warehouse experience. We'll select all the tables from the data option. And ask a question that requires joins and calculations. So we'll go over here and test this and ask, what is the average trip duration by borough for weekdays? You can see it's looking at the warehouse, creating the SQL query under the hood to generate the response, analyzing it. And now you can see we can review the generated SQL and the results from this. Right? So it generates the SQL, generates the response. We can validate this, and this confirms that the agent understands the schema, that the instructions are being applied, and governance and permissions are respected. Great. Looks like our warehouse is ready for natural language processing. Now let's add another data source, our semantic model. Now first, I'm going to add the semantic model built on the same transportation. This semantic model includes curated relationships, KPI business measures, other measures created using Power BI Copilot, and descriptions explicitly prepped for AI. Now, even though the data is the same, the intent is different. The warehouse supports detail and exploratory analysis. The semantic model represents approved business logic and KPI-driven insights. So again, we need to guide the agent on how to work now with both sources. But rather than replacing the instructions, we append to them to define to use which source for what purpose. So I'm going to go into agent instructions, and these are our original instructions that we created earlier to test the warehouse. I'm just going to replace what we currently have with updated instructions. Now, this guidance is simple. If the question is KPI driven or executive style, it's going to prefer the semantic model. If the question requires row-level details or custom logic, it'll use the warehouse. Most importantly, if a semantic model measure exists, it's going to reuse it instead of recreating it. This gives the agent more routing intelligence. Now, this is the cool part because we prepped our semantic model already for AI. The data source and example logic are already defined within the resource, so we don't need to do that. Time saved is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Now we can test again, this time for a KPI style question. I'll select the tables. The leverage. For example, what is the total revenue for October? Now notice that the agent uses the semantic model instead of the warehouse and doesn't have to build SQL from scratch. So you can see the total revenue for the month of October is $13,202. Now we'll ask a detail question. Like show trip level detail for the highest revenue weekday. And identify the weekday name. So show trip level detail for the highest revenue weekday and identify the weekday name. In this case, the agent falls back to the warehouse. This contrast is intentional. It shows the agent that choosing the right abstraction for the question that I'm asking for. So once validated, we can publish the agent. Now that everything seems to be working fine, we'll go ahead and publish the agent. We'll add a description for it. My description is going to be that it provides natural language access to transport, weather, and payment data using both warehouse and semantic model sources. I could also publish it to Microsoft 365 Copilot, but we'll just go ahead and publish it right now. All right. Now that we have published it, let's ask one more question. What are the historical trends across all my data? There we go. That's awesome. Now we have a working agent built on multiple data sources that are used for specific purposes. But we're not done yet, detectives. We can actually extend this intelligence to other services. If we navigate into the agent settings, go back into the workspace and go into the agent settings, we can capture that published URL from the publishing option, and now we can leverage this agent for Power BI Copilot, for conversational BI, Fabric Notebooks using its URL, or it can be extended using Azure AI Foundry for external applications. With Fabric data agents, it's not about picking one data source over the other to get insights and answer questions. Instead, it demonstrates how many sources can serve as AI-ready assets and how Fabric data agents are capable of reasoning across these assets with intention and security. The result governed, reasonable insights, whether for executive summaries or detailed operational analysis. Case closed. Let's head back. As we close this case, remember that Microsoft Fabric data agents are more than just tools. They're your dependable partners in every analytics investigation. With Copilot at your side, translating natural language into governed insights, you can follow the trail with clarity, confidence, and control. Thanks for joining.